Yeah. So we'll have Dr. Shrikant Balasubramaniam, our next speaker, who is going to talk about the cervical corpectomy with fusion, comparison of fusion technique. Dr. Shrikant.
Okay. Good morning. So I'll just share my screen. Uh, Good morning. So we're going to talk about our study in which we have compared fusion techniques after corpectomy. So, as all of us know, corpectomy or vertebrectomy is removal of most or all of vertebral body. The width can range from 15 to 20 mm, and usually 16 to 18 is sufficient for decompression. The two main types which have been described in literature are median central and the limited oblique corpectomy. The reason we conducted the study is because traditionally corpectomy have been reconstructed with autologous bone grafts taken from iliac crest or fibula to restore the structural integrity and maintain the lordosis. So autologous bone graft for reconstruction has had higher fusion rates because of the properties of osteogenesis, osteoinduction, or osteoconduction, and it is considered as the gold standard for reconstruction after corpectomy. However, there are some disadvantages with this, such as donor site morbidity, graft collapse, and inability to reduce the deformity, because and preservation of pre-existing lordosis or efficient correction of the kyphotic spine. So some surgeons have tended to use expandable cylindrical cages and implants. So we have tried to compare the outcomes between reconstruction by all these different methods. So we have conducted our study from Jan 2018 to December 20, and we have 40 patients in our study. The implants have been of titanium material. So we have had three. All of our cases are anterior approach. So we have had standalone expandable cage, autograft and cervical plate, and expandable cage with screws, and minimum follow-up of 6 months and a maximum of 2 years and 8 months. So these are demographic distribution, most common in the third decade and the sixth decade, and males are predominant. Etiology degenerative spondylosis is the most common, followed by Cox spine. We have done single level in 27 and two level in 13. These steps have been standardized. Supine position, linear incision along the anterior border of sternocleidomastoid. We go trachea, esophagus medially, and carotid sheath laterally. Split the longus colli, applied the Cloward retractor. We confirm the level with CM. We do either 2-level or 3-level discectomy followed by corpectomy. The graft bed is prepared meticulously, and we do fusion with the different methods. So this is just an pictorial view. So just illustrative cases. This is a case of a trauma spine where we have done corpectomy and fusion with autograft and plate. In standalone expandable cage, we have done this is the implants which we have used. So this is a case of an 50-year-old gentleman with degenerative spondylosis, and we have done corpectomy with fusion with standalone expandable cage. And this is the second case of 2-level this post OPLL with degenerative spondylosis. We have done 2-level corpectomy with fusion with standalone cage. This is the third case of again degenerative spondylosis with fusion with expandable cage, standalone cage. So this is the post-operative image. So we have used expandable cage and screws in a few cases. This is a case of a severe Cox spine with severe deformity, and we have done 2-level corpectomy and fusion with expandable cage and screws. This is the second case of complete listhesis. There was a huge collection of necrotic material which we have drained and done fusion. It was very difficult to get bony purchase, but we have somehow managed to get a bony purchase and done 2-level corpectomy fusion. So this is the post-op after implant insertion and the operative image. This is the third case of again Cox spine with severe deformity, which we have corrected with expandable cage and screws. So we have had some complication in all our subgroups. In iliac bone and plating, we have had graft migration into wound side complication in one. In expandable cage, we have radiologically we have had loss of lordosis in 2 patients. Previously, we have a few cases of uninstrumented autograft fusion. So this has been in literature, it has been described that they increase the focal cervical kyphosis. So Raj Shekhar and colleagues in a series of 93 patients with compressive myelopathy who underwent 1 or 2 level corpectomy and uninstrumented iliac bone grafting observed an average kyphotic change of the segmental angle of 10 degrees. So this kyphotic deformity also is associated with increase in neck pain, chronic neck pain. This is one case which I had done quite before, about 7 to 8 years back. So that time we had done partial corpectomy with autologous bone fusion without plating. So there is some loss of cervical lordosis. So in literature we have reviewed our 3 fusion techniques. So, literature suggests that fusion with autograft and anterior plating has lesser graft-related complications and higher fusion rates. Advantages of autograft with plating are reported higher fusion rates, lesser graft complications because of osteogenesis, osteoinduction, and osteoconduction. The disadvantages, though minor, are donor side morbidity, some nerve or arterial injury with hematoma and infections, and chronic donor side pain. So when we are using implants with the expandable cages, expandable cylindrical cages, it gives immediate stability, lesser chances of graft migration due to the serration on the edges, and donor side morbidity is avoided. The reduction of the disadvantages are reduction of segmental height, loss of segmental lordosis, and decreased fusion rates. So we conducted a study to really find out whether the fusion rates are decreased or whether it is comparable with autograft. So we have used screw fixation in cases of significant disthesis or high motion segment. So we are compared as subgroups by clinical as well as radiologic parameters. One second. So in clinical score, we have used the Nurek score, which I'll be showing in the next slide. And the radiologic scores, we have done X-ray on before discharge and repeated 3 and 6 months after surgery and annually thereafter. Dynamic flexion and extension views were performed 12 months after operation. So we have seen fusion rate as well as decrease in vertebral body height. So this is the Nurek score. All of us know grade 0 is minimal deficit and grade 5 is chair-bound or bedridden. We found on radiologic parameters, we found that there was loss of height, 2.2 plus minus 2.3 mm in 1 level corpectomy with fusion, and the absence of motion was defined by the spinous process in flexion extension radiographic views, and osseous incorporation by formation of bony trabeculae are seen after 6 months, indicating bony fusion. We found 100% fusion rate for both autograft as well as expandable cylindrical cage. So we have run a statistical analysis. We have done pre and post op Nurek grade. We have compared with the help of paired t-test and found that the p-value has been significant. So all of our patients have improved following surgery. And in between the 2 subgroups, we have run the ANOVA test, wherein we have used again the p-value to see whether any particular technique is better. So we found that the p-value was not significant. So none of the clinically none of this were different from each other. They all gave similar results. So radiologic as well as clinical outcomes were similar in all 3 subgroups. So this is one of our delayed post-operative image showing fusion. Yeah. So I would like to conclude as corpectomy is a standard procedure which is performed worldwide, and it's a safe procedure with minimal morbidity and good results. Fusion with titanium cages avoids donor side morbidity with comparable fusion rates, and standalone cage is as good as cage with whom there is no cervical instability. These are the references.
Thank you, Dr. Srikanth, for a nice presentation. Any questions for Dr. Srikanth, faculty members? Srikanth, I would like, yes, Dr. Manoj.
Srikant, you have really excellent cases. In the cases that have cervical deformity cases that you have done only from anterior side.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you use hollow traction for it?
No,
Especially the
sir,
cervical kyphosis cases that you have shown and that you have done two-level corpectomy.
yeah. So we have not used that. We have just used rigid cervical collar. What we have done, sir, we have this the donor, the upper and the lower level, the graft sites we have extensively prepared. The end plates have been preserved, however, and we have prepared them so that they take the graft well. And then following screw fixation, we have just immobilized them for 6 weeks with rigid cervical collar. And we have given AKT, of course, to all these patients. The severe deformity patients all have been Cox spine.
Dr. Srikant, when you use corpectomy for C7, are you comfortable using expandable cages? Because the curvature at that level is such that many times the expandable cage does not sit well on the T1. So generally, I have tried several times, but I've ended up doing an autologous graft with because the expandable cage doesn't sit well on both the vertebral end plates. If it is going to sit at T1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. So what we have done is we have done some osteotomy to just level it out, and then we have used screws also in the upper and the lower level because it's an high motion segment. So we have used expandable cage with screws in.
Muthukumar, what you can do is drill a bit of the anterior cortex of D1. We have gone up to D2. Actually, our presentation was there in Hall B, where we have presented junctional tuberculosis of C7, D1, D2, where we've gone supraclavicular, exposed up to D3 almost from top. Okay. And then you drill a bit of cortex of D1. The D1 bone, the thickness is much more compared to C7. So you can drill a bit of cortex and you can get a good angle. We are using this routinely. Actually, our presentation was there in Hall B. Where
what happens, Dr. Vernon, is that the cage sits on the posterior aspect of D1, not in the anterior aspect where there's a gap.
No.
My worry is when you are using a substance like titanium, which has a very high modulus of elasticity, if you are going to drill, you are going to expose the cancellous bone. There's a greater chance of the cage subsiding into the cancellous bone.
No, it doesn't. Actually, the drilling is going to help you form more bone. Whatever bone you put is all sequestrated bone, basically. You're putting bone pieces. I don't think that bone is going to form bone so soon. So what we are doing now is we are literally drilling the surface of the body and then placing the plates and screws so that you get rigid bone formation at the later end. So you can try it.
Doing a sagittal scan and looking at the manubrium sternum level and correlating with the level of body D1, D2 means if it's above the manubrium sterni, then there is no problem.
It's not a question of exposure, Manas. My question is using an expandable cage at that level where the lower end of the cage does not sit flush on the upper end of D1. What happens is the posterior aspect of the cage sits well. Anterior aspect, there's a gap between the cage and the superior end plate.
Yeah, so that can be done.
That's what Vernon is saying, that they can be drilled off.
Yeah.
And therefore, when there is a C7T1, there is a risk of subsiding the cage, as Dr. Muthukumar said. We usually go from behind also. It's a junctional zone. We want it strong. So we go from behind also for fusion, putting screws, C7T1.
Theoretically, that's right, Dr. Kulkarni, where it's state-run medical system, but in India, it is unfortunately not so. It adds to the expense. So many times we have to stick to one procedure alone.
Yeah,
but we follow doing a global fusion, put a bone graft anteriorly, and if you cannot put a screw on the T1 or T2 and do.
No. If you do an autologous bone graft under routine plating, it will sit nicely. You can create a bed for that on T1. That's not a big deal. Only problem comes when you put an expandable cage, especially expandable cage with the plate. The plate part of the expandable cage you cannot bend.
put this.
like the routine flight. Okay.
Yes.
Dear colleagues,
Thank you,
this
Shrikant.
is really nice discussions. Batuk, we are over time, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you all the presenters, faculty members and co-chairman, Dr. Onur. So we'll conclude this session. Thank you all.